then you explain it in an explanation. Uh, uh, I mean, again, you can explain this further, but the idea is that here in this explanation, I'm explaining that these 5 hours of sleep made it an awful weekend. Hey, look, my wife and I were both sick the entire time. Every time I tried to sleep, she would cough. When she finally stopped coughing, I started. All right. So I'm explaining why the example proves the statement. All right. This is, again, oversimplified, but it's an idea of a C paragraph. All right. Some of you, take that in for a little bit. Some of you might have a problem with this, and it's because of this last bullet. If your statement and example are too similar or simple, this isn't needed. The explanation isn't needed. All right. And the paragraph should be re-envisioned. All right. What I mean by that is if you say something like, you know, I'm not saying he actually says this is a fake quote, but if your statement, hey, Mark Bauerlein thinks today's generation is stupid, and then your example is Bauerlein claims today's generation is stupid, they're too similar. Your statement and example is too similar. You don't need a whole paragraph to prove it. All right. Instead, you might want to say something like Mark Bauerlein, now there's a gap between this statement, your opinion, and Bauerlein's opinion. All right. Now you can prove, hey, look, why claiming that today's generation is stupid shows that he has no respect. And maybe that's a bad thing. All right. So your statement and example can't be exactly the same, because if it is, you have no reason for an explanation. All right. So those are the three aspects of a C paragraph. Let's take a look at this last slide. When do I use a C paragraph? All right. C paragraphs are flexible. All right. In other classes, I teach personal narratives where you just talk about yourself. You can use a C paragraph for that. Literary essays, when you're writing on novels, you can use C paragraphs. Argumentative essays, research papers, history papers, C paragraphs work in all different ways. All right. And again, you have the statement, example, explanation, all in the same paragraph, and it's just for body paragraphs. All right. That being said, even though you can use them for all different types of academic writing, all different types, you don't have to use them all the time. All right. And so that's what this is saying. Writing is an art. I want you to be creative, but I also want you to be thoughtful. C paragraphs make you plan things out, and that's a good thing. All right. You should plan things out prior to writing them. C paragraphs help with that. All right. At the beginning, you need to show me, and this goes to the Picasso example, all right? You need to show me that you can do a C paragraph, that you understand a C paragraph, and use them as much as possible. But as we progress and you show and you prove that you can do it, then you don't have to do it as much, All right. Then you can just keep in mind that it needs those aspects. It needs to be argumentative. You need hard fact, and you need to explain that hard fact. If you have those aspects, I don't care the order in which they come. You can be creative with that. You can have a whole paragraph, right? That's all quote, or all paraphrase, all summary, as long as your next paragraph analyzes it. So you can have a whole paragraph, all of analysis, all of explanation. That's fine. All right. But first, show me that you understand having a statement, example, explanation. Once you do that, then you can play with the format. And the reason why I have this Picasso thing is that everyone, when people think about Picasso, they think about, well, I think about this type of stuff right here. I mean, it looks awful, right? Oh, well, it doesn't look like a person. It's his perspective on that person. All right. But he didn't go out and do that right away. I mean, he was a very accomplished painter, and this was his perspective, all right, on the world at that time. All right. He first showed that he could do something like this. This is also Picasso. He showed he could do something like this, doing it by the book, the equivalent of a C paragraph. He showed he could do this. And once he showed that he was a strong painter and he could paint any way he wanted, all right, then he was a little bit more flexible with it. He manipulated structures. And you can see a bunch of different Picassos down here. All right. And he could do it. I mean, he could do something real, something that looks like a woman. All right. But he chose not to. And so think about that when you address C paragraphs. You don't have, first show me you can do a C paragraph. In the first paper, in the first essay, do strong C paragraphs. Once you understand that, you can manipulate the structure. You still need to be argumentative. You still need hard fact. You still need to analyze that fact, but it doesn't have to be in that order. All right. But you can manipulate the structure after you show that you can follow the structure. All right. And still keep in mind while you're playing with the structure, when you're more advanced, that you still need to convey an eye to the reader. All right. And C paragraphs make relating those ideas a little easier. All right. Lastly, let me show you, here's an essay on Harry Potter. And it's not a perfect C paragraph, but it's something to look at. So here you have, along with encouraging an overall love of reading for young people, the Harry Potter series has positively influenced the classroom setting. So here's the author's main point right here. Positively influence the classroom setting. So I know in this paragraph, this author is going to argue about classroom setting and Harry Potter being a positive influence. That's in the topic sentence. This is a statement. All right, that's the statement right there. This first part of the statement, just FYI, is a transition from the last paragraph. All right, but here, this is the argument, classroom setting. Then the author goes in to the example. All right, teachers today are noticing the interest children and teens are displaying in Harry Potter and are using it to their advantage. For Gillian Williams, former principal of PS 63, hold on here. Sorry. There it is. All right. For Gillian Williams, former principal of PS 63, an underprivileged elementary school in South Bronx, New York, Harry Potter has made all the difference for her students. After lending the first book out to a student, she watched as it circulated throughout the school, and soon kids had independently formed their own Harry Potter club and were persuading their teachers to allow a Harry Potter day in which they even played math-based game of Quidditch. Williams says that the excitement over reading the Harry Potter books was transformative in her students' education, both in English and other subjects. She says, unless kids want to read, you can't make them do it. But once a book captures their attention, Teachers can use elements of the story to excite students about their classes. So this is not the author's opinion. This is a paraphrase. This is a quote down here, a paraphrase up here. This is the example section of the paragraph. It's a little long, so it's not perfect. All right, but this is a good writer. This is the research paper. She ended up doing very well. It's a very good writer. She's able to manipulate it a little bit. But this is all what she got from an outside source. All right, so this is the example. Now, in her explanation, she is going to, try to tie this example into this idea, positively influence the classroom setting. All right. And again, the explanation should be as long as the example, and it isn't, but this still has every aspect. So here is the author's opinion. Harry Potter isn't just beneficial to an English or reading class. It has the potential to affect student studies all around. A couple of errors in here. That's all right. Usually teachers are the ones persuading their students to read more and to practice creativity. However, Harry Potter is inspiring kids from every background and social class to think outside the box and incorporate aspects of the series into multiple classes as a way to keep the lessons fun and interesting. So this is her opinion in here. She's not citing anybody. This is what she thinks, all right? And she gets it from this example, all right? So there's an example for you. Let's see here. And that's the C paragraph video. If you have any questions, you can post it to the class question forum, discuss it amongst your classmates, and